Hello ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, and welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Time to commence the StarCraft 2 commentaries. I know it's been a while, guys. Last week was absolutely nuts for me. I have finished moving. Most of the Diablo 3 content is up and loaded. Time to get back into the swing of some StarCraft 2 action. And yeah, definitely pretty excited about that. So this matchup that we're going to be looking at is between GG's lastshadow and ToD. We can see over here in the upper left of Shakur's Plateau, we do have ToD as the blue Protoss player. And here in the upper right is lastshadow. And what is he doing? Okay, that was a huge mistake. So lastshadow momentarily loading up his command center with a bunch of SCVs. Clearly not intended. Wow, that's... Okay, well, good job. Anyways, yes, lastshadow versus ToD. This is, despite what you just saw here, a professional level replay. This is actually coming from MLG, the recent MLG that did take place. So certainly looking forward to casting this match. I didn't get a chance to watch any of it, actually. So I'm looking forward to casting these because this will be the first time I actually physically see these games. lastshadow starting off with a depot right here by his resource line. Obviously, the main purpose of that is to cut back on not mining time. Basically, the amount of time it would take him to go anywhere else. And we can see actually we'll be starting off with the racks here on the low ground. Now, this is being dropped at a 13 supply, so a little bit later than the standard 12 racks that does get dropped. And then immediately after, getting that refinery right over there as well. So we're probably going to be seeing some early aggression given this racks placement. He is a little bit concerned actually about this pro moving on up because this could be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but there we go. A second SV moving down to help combat any of the harassment that this probe actually may try to do. We'll be chasing around that probe, and actually right now that he's injured, we'll be forced to push back, especially given the fact that the probe can just recharge those shields. There's another SCV moving down, and again, this is a problem with building the racks far away from your main resource line, is that once that probe gets in, this harassment can be so very frustrating. You can see right now, ToD just continuously pulls back whenever he loses his shields, but there we go. Just took a little bit of damage to those three SCVs, didn't lose anything. He's got that first Marine coming out. We do also have that refinery right now. It is finished and saturated. Orbital command coming through as well. And probe does need to be careful because that Marine's popping up, but no, he should be fine. We'll manage to make it out of there before the Marine gets anywhere close. Over here, we do see that Cybernex Core coming on through. We are just sitting on one gas right now. ToD starting off with the Zealot. Let's keep an eye on any additional units he gets after that. I wanted to see if he's going to be going for something like a 3-gate robo. If he starts churning out those sentries, then that certainly is a possibility. We can see as soon as that Cybernex Core finishes, we should be seeing that next unit. Another Marine coming on through right now. lastshadow does have a factory proxied over here, so lastshadow will be trying to do a little bit of fanciness. That does get spotted, though, by the Zealot. Very nice awareness there by ToD. He's got a Stalker coming on through right now. Warp Gate Research working its way on in as well, so he did spot the fact that this factory is building down here, so let's see what he manages to do. All he really needs to do is move down with that one Zealot, take out that SCV, and lastshadow will be forced to cancel this. Obviously, this is the biggest risk in trying something like this, especially given the fact that he's building it so close to ToD's base that once it's spotted, you're kind of screwed and not a whole lot you can do about it. Now, a couple Marines moving down, and we do actually have that Stalker coming on down. Since he scouted those Marines moving through with that probe, he wanted to see if he could catch those with the Stalker. The Marines will be trying to chase down the Zealot, though. The Zealot is starting to work on that factory, and there we go. Marines coming within range, but this is going to be a problem. Those Marines will be sandwiched, and there you go. Between the Stalker and the Zealot, those Marines get sandwiched, and it looks like ToD lost nothing but shields. lastshadow will probably be forced to cancel that as well, and so right now tremendously behind. I mean, not only did he load up some SCVs at the start, but losing that as well, that proxy factory, was a big loss. So not looking good here at the start for lastshadow. He does have this bunker coming through. That is certainly will be necessary. ToD coming out with that proxy pylon. What does he have in the works right now? Just sitting on these two gateways, and yeah, that is it. Just working with these two gateways because he's really churning out those units early on, using every single resource he has to try to get out a strong early army. I certainly don't blame him, given the fact that lastshadow is so far behind. Now, he's got a couple SCVs ready to repair that bunker if he does get that attack. Another Marauder sitting over here as well. Back in the main base, nothing. Still sitting on just the rack, so very early on, not a lot for either player, but there we go. ToD coming out with that expansion, so 2 gates and expand, and he will also be pushing out very soon. I expect him to at least try to do a little bit of damage, given the proxy pylon, this forward position. He's got some more reinforcements coming through, and he should be able to start warping in right now, and there we go. There's a sentry and a Stalker Stalker. Back over here, what do we've got going on? Another expansion, so Last Shadow will be trying to compensate for the fact that he's so far behind. But here comes the big push, and let's see how he can deal with this. He does have that bunker. That's certainly going to help him a lot. Marauder getting target fire down. He wants to target fire down these SCVs and then go for that bunker, and there you go. SCVs get dropped. See you later, bunker. Trying to pull back there with that low health Stalker. Does get taken out, though, and SCVs moving forward. Do they get there in time? Yes, they do. Big repairs, but a very nice force field there by ToD. Forces that bunker to get destroyed. Still has to contend with these Marauders, those SCVs, and that Reaper. A couple more Stalkers coming on through. Wants to target fire down those offensive units. The Marauder and that Reaper is forcing everything to push back right now, and this is not looking good for Last Shadow. Losing the Marauder, losing the Reaper. A couple more SCVs moving down to engage. Marauder hopping right in the bunker at the last moment. SCVs going out for a mass repair, and this actually probably will force ToD to pull back right now. He doesn't have enough gateways to really keep up a very strong force. Again, he only had those 2 that he was using for warp in. He's got this robotics coming out as well. So Last Shadow did manage to defend himself, but taking some pretty heavy losses. You can see right now he is behind in terms of resources lost, and that certainly isn't a good thing at all. Taking a look at the units right now, we do have got 31 probes here for ToD as opposed to just the 23 SCVs. Last Shadow, of course, losing some SCVs in that engagement, and then also losing the SCV down over here. So in terms of income, we should expect ToD to be ahead, and yes, in fact, he is ahead in both mineral and gas. Now it looks like Last Shadow once more will be trying to compensate for his loss and the fact that he was behind by coming out with this expansion, but keep in mind that is very, very risky. If we take a look right now at the units, we've got 3 Stalkers, a Sentry, and a Zealot as opposed to just those 3 Marauders, and although ToD isn't about to push out, he's sitting on the stronger force at the moment, and he's got Colossus coming on through very shortly. We can see that Robotics Bay will be finished very shortly as soon as this Observer finishes as well. I think he's got 1 in play. Yes, he does, and he's got a second Observer coming on through, and then once that finishes, this base should be finished, and then we'll be starting to see some Colossus. At that point, Last Shadow will be in a very tough position. Right now, he is just sitting on these 2 barracks and just working his way up to a factory. Now, this is something that ToD is fully aware of with this Observer Scout, and I'm assuming, is he going to check? No, he doesn't know about that expansion yet, and he hasn't checked it, but hopefully he does neander on over there, because that is pretty much an easy free kill for him. All he really has to do is walk over with 1 Colossus once he does start to get those out. And again, ToD's saturation looking really nice. He is still ahead economically, even though Last Shadow is working on this base. He doesn't have it saturated yet, so no way that he's really able to get that economic advantage quite at this moment. I still do not think, no, ToD is still not aware of the fact that Last Shadow has that expansion. It looks like he will be losing this pylon over here. Is he going to bother warping in any units? I do not think so. Couple of Stalkers moving across. We'll be catching that SCV. SCV does manage to sneak away a little bit, but those Stalkers with that greater speed should be able to catch up, get that last shot off, and there you go. That pylon did get dropped. Back over here, we have got a probe checking for an additional expansion. Still hasn't checked that 12 o'clock position, although I believe he should sometime soon because he does know something funky is going on. Now, Last Shadow at this point will start to actually take advantage. We can see dropping down a lot of mules over here at this expansion. He will start to take advantage of this extra economy that he's got from this, but at the same time, it looks like ToD is getting ramped up for a push right now. He has got those thermal lances coming through. 1 Colossus working its way on out. That will be his first Colossus. We'll be interested to see if he decides to wait for like a second or third before he does actually move forward to engage. We've got 2 proxy pylons getting prepared for when and if Last Shadow moves into expansion over here. Looks like we will probably be seeing another proxy pylon placement besides that, though. Although maybe he will just be relying on these. Who knows, really. We'd like to see one next to where his battle is going to be taking place. There we go. Vision to the high ground, trying to do a little bit of damage to that depot. We have got those Marauders leaving the bunker, and we'll be actually dropping that depot, try to get within range of those. And here we go. Factory Scout coming on through. It looks like Last Shadow will be sitting Marine Marauder heavy, but now the Colossus comes into play, and this is going to be a little bit scary for Last Shadow. He doesn't have any Vikings out yet. He's got 2 coming through with that reactor starport, but will it be in time? Because there's going to be some really strong aggression right now coming out from ToD, already losing a depot. So Last Shadow getting a little bit of a supply block, but actually no, it looks like he is just barely ahead, tied up at 8-9, 8-9, so very close to a supply block there. And if he loses this next depot, it looks like he will hit that. I got a few more depots in production. I don't know why I'm so focused on that. We've got the combat shields coming through, level 1 upgrades coming on through as well for Last Shadow. ToD over here sitting at no upgrades, though he does have the level 1 weapons coming through. Looks like he isn't fully prepared to engage, though, because he does have this 3rd expansion coming out. There's that Factory Scout getting spotted by that Stalker, taking a little bit of damage. Mass repairs going down, and this is actually really good, though, for ToD because he's taking no damage besides shield damage. He is forcing this repair, and that cost resources, so Last Shadow is blowing through resources, and there we go. Now that the expansion has been spotted, moving down with the Colossus, though that does get taken out by those Vikings. Stalkers forcing that to push back. The Colossus continue to work here at the front, and again, Last Shadow is just throwing away resources. resources. Moving forward, though, with that Colossus. Needs to be careful. A little bit too close. Vikings come forward and very dangerously close to sniping down that Colossus. One Colossus was already lost. We've got a Colossus getting ready to push and engage over here. Looks like right now we will be seeing ToD try to break down those destructible rocks just in case lastshadow tries to move over here again. ToD wants to be able to easily move in there and take out that expansion. But again, lasshadow's got a burning building over here. This is something he certainly needs to repair. Observer still scouting the front, and certainly at this point in the game, lastshadow is in a very tough position. ToD sitting pretty dominant, although, you know, lastshadow has defended himself from what we've seen in terms of aggression from ToD. This expansion was forced to lift off, became dangerously close to losing it. Again, is forced to repair, wasted resources and repairing over here as well. So yes, ToD in a very, very strong position right now. And again, lastshadow is still behind in terms of resources lost. In terms of economy as well, we do expect ToD to be ahead. So this is looking fairly one-sided. At this point in the game, I expect ToD to just kind of mass up his forces. We can see right now coming out with that charge upgrade. He is researching the level 1 armor. Those level 1 weapons are finished. We do have a big push coming out from lastshadow, but still, I don't think it's anything that's going to be able to contend with what ToD has. ToD already sitting at an advantage in terms of supply. Keep in mind, too, he just needs to, with a second or two more, he's got another warping coming on through, and then lastshadow will be severely outnumbered. Few Colossus in the mix as well. Those charged zealots will absolutely tear through this bio, and that's certainly a big concern here for lastshadow. So lastshadow trying to push out to engage, but actually just getting control of the center of the map and then walking back home. Really is just a matter of time, though. ToD is in just such a dominant position, especially once those charge upgrade. Once that charge upgrade does finish, we can see the armor upgrade just finishing right now as well for ToD. So he will be sitting 1-1 right now and working on the level 2 armor upgrade here as well. And again, still just sticking bio heavy. That's what I expect here from lastshadow, Marine, Marauder, Viking. But he is certainly behind right now in terms of army size. So moving forward to engage isn't the best idea. Last time we did see him try to just take control of the center of the map, but it looks like this time lastshadow is getting ready to engage. That charge upgrade just about finished right now. We'll be moving forward. There go the Guardian Shields. Very nice spread of his units. Vikings trying to target fire down this Colossus. Stim going down for those Marines and Marauders. The charge upgrade not finished in time, and ToD losing all of his zealots, but it doesn't matter. As mentioned prior, ToD just has a clear superior advantage in terms of numbers, just rolling over everything lastshadow had, and there is the good game. We saw a very interesting first barracks placement from lastshadow in a little bit of a forward position, allowing him to provide a little bit of early game aggression. He coupled this with a proxy factory, which he attempted to place right under the natural of ToD. Unfortunately, though, for lastshadow, ToD did spot this, and with that, he was able to move down his zealot, kill off the SCV, and stop any additional building of this factory. Realizing how far behind lastshadow was, ToD felt safe to move into expansion, even with just 2 gateways to start. And at the same time, he moved out with a small force to test the waters at the front of lasshadow's base. He managed to do quite a bit of damage, force a lot of repairs, and kill off a few SCVs here as well. Although he didn't kill lastshadow, he certainly put him further behind. Realizing he was behind, lastshadow attempted to move into a 3rd expansion. However, this was spotted by ToD, and as such, he was able to quickly take it out. With Colossus in play, ToD was able to contain lastshadow, which allowed him to safely move into his 3rd. At the 16-minute mark, lastshadow attempted to move out for some aggression. However, he just could not compare with the army size of ToD. He was severely outnumbered, and it was also, we saw some additional warpings here for ToD. It was just really nothing that lastshadow could do, being so severely behind for the entire game. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. This was game number 1. I have got a second game here between these 2 players, so stay tuned. We will be going to that in just one moment. As always guys, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.